Good morning. Let me first of all say good morning to all our listeners and, of course, to the press present here with us today. Today is a very important day, as mentioned by our Prime Minister, in terms of agriculture, which is really the backbone of this country. And we have with us here the PS of Agriculture, also Dr. Thomas, who is also the Chief Veterinary Officer, and Angus McIntyre, my brother as well too, our good friend here from the consultant from the OECS we met yesterday. And what we want to do today is to really focus on agriculture and government plans in terms of how we can revamp this country. As you know, and as most of you would have seen, Dominica was devastated by Hurricane Maria, and of course we have to bring this country back. Right now we are highly dependent on the packaged foods, the tin stuff. We're even getting water in Dominica now. That's something that we have not seen for a very long time, but that's so important for us as well too. So we want to take this country back to where it was, because we depend on agriculture, both from our food security point of view and also from the point of view of our exports. We'll tackle today in three different ways. We have the PS of Agriculture, who give an overview of the plans of the Ministry of Agriculture, and also we have Dr. Thomas, who will introduce the livestock component of it, animal proteins, and of course the PS can also elaborate more on the fisheries aspect of it. And Angus, my brother, will speak about plantains and bananas, in terms of moving forward. But what I want to say as well too, before we introduce this topic, is the fact that yes, Maria struck us, and yes, it was a Category 5, and I've never felt one or experienced one in my life, but it certainly was not a joke at all. But there are opportunities that we have to realize from Maria. And there's quite a bit of soil around the area that has been washed to the close to the roads. I would like us, as much as possible, those of us listening, to let's conserve and save some of that soil in areas where we have serious erosion. We can take it back and use it for leveling lands. Lands that you may have had before, of course, not creating any problems on your banks and your edges of your land. But don't be afraid to use some of that soil and use the machines that are on island right now to level up areas to help us in terms of planting our crops. That is one we have to make sure we use a lot to. Another thing we should be mindful of is we have quite a bit of land clearing done by Maria for us. The country is totally bare, if you want to call it that way. Some of our forestries will shoot back again and they will grow, but let's use the opportunity of land clearing, which has taken place rapidly and in a massive manner. What I mean by that is the soil is exposed once again, and those of us who are young enough and those of us who are old enough to have experienced Hurricane David, is a similar sort of scenario is taking place here. And it took David about 30-something years to get back that sort of secondary forest growth and the primary forest growth of those who survive. So we should use the land clearing by Hurricane Maria as something positive for us. Now, if we can get into planting most of the crops, using it, the dash, we look at it from the short term, the medium term, and the long term. We got to plan them back. What I want to advise against as well too, and I want to advise against that strongly, is let's go about pruning our trees. But let's not kill trees right now, because we really don't have that cover in terms of absorption of heat, which is affecting us here right now. Now, what I'd like to do now is introduce the PS of Agriculture. First, to give an overview as to where we're going in agriculture. I'll speak of some of the plans of the Ministry of Agriculture, and I'll coordinate it. Dr. Thomas will introduce the livestock aspect of it. And of course, we'll be taking questions from you. Anyone who has questions, feel free to ask us questions. We are quite capable. Our consultant from the OECS is here as well too, and Angus. So we'll start out with the PS of Agriculture, Mr. Gies first.